Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Warrior Words of Wisdom. My name is Cindy Verduce. I'm the director of the Career Center here, and we are really lucky today. We have DeShawn Woods with us, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to make sure I get everything up. Let me stop share. There we go. Yay. There. Much better, much better. DeShawn, how are you today?
Doing great. Thank you for having me. Truly honored, humble, blessed. I really appreciate you. From the moment I was a student up until now, you've always supported. So I just want to thank you. Well, I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome.
Good. Absolutely good. What these warrior words of wisdom, we created these really kind of when the pandemic started, when everybody had to go home. We wanted to still engage our students. And so we wanted to ask alums. We wanted to hear from them, and especially ones who are excelling like you. So that's kind of how we created this event. But why don't you start off and just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. So I graduated in 2017 with a bachelor's in psychology. Um, as soon as I graduated, I got right into the field. I worked with kids with autism, behavioral issues, ADD, ADHD for 1.5 years, and now I am currently an independent living case manager for foster kids from ages 16 through I would say about 24. So I'm not that much older than them, so which is pretty cool. I'm basically mentoring kids that are really where I was 3 years ago. I'm currently in my master's for organizational leadership as well. So
Awesome.
I'm about 9 courses away from getting my master's too. So yeah, with my current job at the Villages of Indiana, I pretty much it's almost identical to my non-for-profit that I own. Teaching kids life skills, transitioning to adulthood, teaching them credit, debt management, all that stuff. So yeah.
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 Well, it's really funny. I was approached by one of the TV stations, and they were asking. Someone had mentioned that we did some adulting kind of, adulting 101. And when you saw that, you had mentioned that that really is at the crux of what you do. Tell us a little bit about what your ministry um, does.
So the goal of the ministry, the primary goal of the ministry is to give financial assistance to college and or grade school graduates, trade school graduates,
Oh, okay, good.
um, after after they graduate. So there's three things that college and trade school graduates generally don't have. And even if they do have one of these three things, they still need financial assistance. So they usually don't have consistent transportation, which is a car, vehicle of some sort, housing, or a job. So our primary goal is to raise money, fundraise for students that have graduated to assist primarily with housing for up to 6 months. So this can include covering their direct deposit and their security deposit for their first month, and covering partial rent for up to 6 months. So what this does is gives them time to not have to worry about the financial aspect of post graduation, and it really gives them time to focus on what jobs are best for their career, and it prevents them from being forced to go back home. I don't know. I don't know if you've heard of the boomerang effect, where a parent would a parent would send their kid off to college, and 4 years later they come right back home. So it kind of alleviates the boomerang, and allows them to really focus on, okay, how can I get myself together to start my career, rather than I need to work this job to get money right after college. So that's the goal of the ministry. So we have two programs. I don't want to be long with it, but we have two programs, which is the extended care program, which is the one I just explained, and another one is the transitional adulthood program, which is the educational aspect of it. So as much as they need financial assistance, they also need educational assistance. Um, a lot of kids don't learn credit. A lot of kids don't learn how to find an apartment, mortgage, how loans work, interest rates, annual percentage rates, how to do their resume, just different things like that. And coming up, we're having a mental health workshop. So, just
Wow.
different life skills that they're going to need as they transition into adulthood. So uh, students can either attend our workshops and get educational assistance that way, or they can apply for direct assistance where and hopefully in the future I will have a team that we can directly help them on a specific need. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So important. I don't know how it happened, but yeah, kids today really don't have a good sense of, I don't know if it's because, my generation, you know, uh, sheltered them too much. But yeah, I mean, I have 5 kids myself, and I have had a couple of them have to come back home.
Yeah.
Um, but it was only on the condition that they pay rent to me, which I turned around and gave back to them to pay for
Yeah.
that first month's rent, security deposits and all that. And so what you're doing is really outstanding because, not everybody has a mom who's going to, do that for them and help them out. So that's great. I know too, budgeting has been a big issue. You cover budgeting with them as well?
Yes, definitely. One of the primary things I have kind of like a budgeting template that I go over with my kids. And I
Well, I'd
remember,
love to get a copy.
yeah, you and I had talked about when we were first talking about the organization. We were talking about how kids don't really understand how expensive life is. So when we actually calculate, okay, here's how much the average rent is in Fort Wayne
Yeah.
or abroad, and calculate that on top of insurance, calculate that on top of car notes, and
Yep.
just different life expenses, and they're just like, oh, I did not know life was that expensive.
I did it. I have a class that I teach. I think I mentioned to you a discovery class, and one of the things I make them do is research how much money someone in the job they want will make, because this is for freshmen, and then do a budget based on where do you want to live, and so how much is a house going to cost in Denver, Colorado, and all those things. But it was amazing. The two things they forgotten the most was taxes. They didn't know they're going to take that much, of my money back. No, I don't want that to happen. And they always forgot their student loans too. So I think what you're doing is great because it's
Yeah.
so important that they understand those things, and how they can be successful. I think one of the things that really struck me that I thought was really insightful on your part was that you're encouraged, this support is to help them so they don't have to take just a job. They don't have to be a barista just to be able to afford to live. This helps them so that they
Yeah.
can find a job in their chosen career.
Yes, it definitely buys that time, and it just alleviates that pressure and buys that time, and it just kind of, I desire to help buy time that I didn't have. Luckily for me, right out of college, I did have that opportunity to jump right into my career field, but I also needed help from my mom to get my car, to get the resources I need to really work. So if it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't have had that. And not everyone has that. Not everyone might have that resource to really rely on. So definitely it aims to alleviate that pressure that might be there, and that anxiety, definitely. um so yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really well. I want to say one thing before I ask my question, but
Mhm.
one thing I want to say about you, though, you had a job when you graduated because you were working it. You were interviewing, you were at career fairs. I remember so well. I mean, you really were working it before you graduated. So, kudos to you that you had a job at graduation because you did what you needed to do to
Yeah.
prepare. So, good for you. But I was going to ask you about, so how can students, current students, how can they be involved in your organization?
Well, students can be involved in several ways. So I actually have one student involved so far.
Right.
And she actually, is interested in just, learning. So you can get involved by one, getting help. So that's, getting help, seeing what the organization is about. And I'm also allowing students to become volunteers.
Oh,
I want to get to a place where, because with the transitional education program is also about networking as well. So there's actually a get involved form on our website where if you would desire to be, a volunteer helping out with workshops, helping out with events, students have the opportunity to do that. If they have knowledge, that they would like to share.
yeah.
And I also feel like because it is a non-for-profit, a 501c3, a registered 501c3 organization, that definitely is a resume builder. It gives you that, that opportunity to say, hey, I volunteer here, I tutor here. So students can get involved by signing up on the website, saying, hey, this is what I like to help with. So, there's definitely several ways. So if you have a psychology degree and you would like to talk more about mental health and you would like to help host more mental health workshops, you can get involved that way. If you have an engineering degree, you want to talk about engineering, give people engineering networking opportunities, you can get help that way. If you're like a marketing major or a graphic design, you can help with our social media page.
Yeah.
So there's definitely different ways to get involved. Or if you just need general help, like, hey, I don't know what I want to help with, but I'm interested, you can still,
Be
get
involved. Yeah.
involved as well. So
Great, great. Now, one of the things you mentioned is that, if parents don't want their kids coming back home, like I had, um, how can folks who want to support you, what can, other folks in the community do to support your organization?
well, I always stress this because On Your Feet Ministries is a 501c3 organization. We're not funded by anyone in particular. We thrive off of strictly donations. So if you would like to help out financially, you can go on our website and donate that way. There's a donation link. We are registered through PayPal. The payment comes through PayPal and then it goes straight to our account. There's also in-kind donations. So hopefully one of these days, hopefully by the year 2022, I would like to host a back to school drive where we give out laptops, notebooks, different things like that. So um, there's financial donations and in-kind donations, which is material
Oh,
donations. So maybe you don't have the money, but you have an extra laptop that you would like to give, or you have some extra notebooks lying around or extra stacks of paper. You can also give that as well.
oh,
Um,
nice.
so that's with the material giving. So um,
Do you
you
want
can
to share
also,
with us your website?
oh, on
I'll type
your,
it in the chat.
yeah, definitely.
W.
Com. So that is our website. So when you click on the website, the first tab would be our um, current event that is coming up, which is our mental health event, where we'll be talking about mental health, how it relates to students, and how they can balance student life with, general life, and just especially in the midst of a pandemic. Um, I believe that mental health is a yes. I believe that mental health is a great topic. So we have licensed counselors and therapists that will be speaking.
Awesome. I see you got Dr. Shaw, Dr. Wells. Nice.
All of them have licenses. All of them have um, the necessary degrees in counseling, and all of them are in the mental health field. So going back to ways to support any event that we have, feel free to register, sign up, and support the event because I'm all about grassroots. I'm all about grassroots, word of mouth. I'm not really big on marketing campaigns or anything like that. I'm all about word of mouth. So one ways to support is to attend our workshops. And if they're beneficial to you, support the ministry financially and just support by word of mouth and sharing our events. Because the workshops that I host, I I don't host them for me. I don't host them to get my name out or because ultimately it's not about me. It's about the students and it's about the people that are in need. So
That's great. That's great. I did go ahead and share your website so people could have a peek at it. And I just want to thank you again, DeShawn, for coming and speaking with us today and telling us about your work, your good work that you're doing. We're just so you make us warrior proud.
thank you so much for having me.
Yes. And folks, any visitors, feel free to go. You can see he has an event coming up Saturday, March 6th. So go and sign up online and support On Your Feet Ministries any way you can. Thank
Yes.
you so much,
And
DeShawn.
do one more thing. The
Sure.
registration, we had early registration, which is now closed. But if you register, we will be having a raffle for the event. Um, Up until the week of the event, that's when the the registration will be closed. So feel free to still register, and you can enter our raffle for the event. It's going to be a great conversation about mental health, and it's going to be very insightful. So, yeah,
Great. Thank you
yeah.
so much, DeShawn. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Join us for our next Warrior Words of Wisdom. Bye bye.